As we are currently in the middle of National Preparedness Month, it's important to go over many of the resources that are available for residents of Greater West Bloomfield. One of those services is NIXLE, which helps to alert residents of any critical events occurring in the community. Joining us now on the Splash Live to tell us more is a dispatcher with the West Bloomfield Police Department, Jake Curran. Jen, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great and really happy to have you with us, as this is a very important topic of discussion, especially right now in National Preparedness Month. So can you explain in a little more detail what NIXLE is and how the West Bloomfield Police Department utilizes it?
So NIXLE is a mass notification system that allows us to send out messages, alerts, informational things about things that might be going on within the township that citizens would need to be aware of. We use them for storms. If there's a critical event going on, we need you to stay out of a particular area. Sometimes we use them as a kind of heads up for construction zones that we know are coming, projects that we know are happening, and we just try to use it to notify the citizens of things going on in the moment they're happening.
Okay, and that's good. That helps to inform a lot of the residents of the community. I am curious, how do you determine what alerts to send out? Like, what constitutes something that qualifies a NIXLE alert or something that maybe isn't as important to disclose to the public?
Usually it is based mostly on the number of people it's going to affect, whether it's your route of travel and we need to kind of reroute traffic for a few hours. If it's a safety issue, we need people to stay in their homes, but we know it's going to affect a large area. We usually use those kind of determinants to decide what to send out, how often to send it out. Sometimes for our construction ones, we'll send it out multiple times as reminders just to keep it in people's heads. If it's a safety alert, we will just send it out in that moment and then we send a follow-up once it's clear. But usually it's just based on the specific incident at that moment and the number of people it's going to affect.
Okay, that's good to know. Do you know of any, maybe some recent examples or recent situations where NIXLE alerts had a direct positive impact on public safety?
So we've been using them a lot recently for all the road construction we've been having, where we're shutting down lanes and streets and having to reroute people. I know we sent a couple out last week when they were doing the Walnut Lake and Orchard Lake project that on Saturday that Consumers Energy was doing. So we used those and we were able to give some citizens a couple days heads up so they can plan ahead. And then citizens would call us and say, you know, I got your alert. What's the best route you think I should take? And we're able to just kind of keep more people out of those areas to keep everything safe.
Of course. And how would you say NIXLE has improved communication between the police department and the residents of West Bloomfield?
So it lets us alert people easier and faster on a larger scale, which then prevents people having to call and ask us, tying up our phone lines for other emergencies that might be happening. It gives people information on the moment that it's going on and everything they need to know. So then they can look for other routes or other ways to figure out the information they need. And then it lets us tell them everything they need to know in that moment and helps us share what's going on.
Of course, good that you're able to have this direct communication with the people of our community. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with West Bloomfield Police Department dispatcher Jake Curran about NIXLE alerts, a very important topic to go over, especially in the middle of National Preparedness Month. Now, Jen, I am curious, how can residents sign up for NIXLE if they have not done so already? And is it free to use?
It is free to use. Anybody can sign up. There's two separate ways to sign up. So you can either text your zip code to 888-777, and that will automatically sign you up through that text message. Or you can go to local.nixle.com/register, and there's a form you can fill out there. It does give you the option to provide both an email address and a phone number, and then determine how you want your alerts received from there. Once you're in there, you can set up all your settings for how you want to receive it, and you will be on the list.
Awesome. Great that there's an easy way for everybody to stay informed of the news in West Bloomfield, and it comes at no extra cost. Now, Jen, I am curious because there are a lot of other communication tools that are used via online where that can send out information about news events and things that are happening in the community. How would you say NIXLE compares to other communication tools like social media or news outlets in terms of speed and reliability?
So for us in the dispatch center, it's faster. There's a form that we fill out and then it just automatically pushes things out. What usually ends up happening is we then forward that to our Facebook page and other forms of notification. But this one in the moment works the fastest and it gets us out to the most people because it comes through as a text message alert. You'll receive it as you would every other text message. You don't have to actively be on your social media or email or anything to be able to see it. You will get that alert pushed through to you. And so it gives you that faster notification.
Absolutely. Speed is of the essence, and it's great that NIXLE is able to provide that. Now, we touched on this a little bit a second ago in terms of maybe some weather-related emergencies that NIXLE helps to inform the public about. In what ways does NIXLE help the department manage larger emergencies or weather-related events more efficiently?
It lets us push out additional alerts if there's warnings, when we have down trees, down wires. We can tell people what areas to stay out of. We can send reminders, don't touch the wires, don't go near trees. You know, we get those ice storms that come through and it knocks a lot of power out. This will let us notify people that we're aware of it. When they necessarily don't have that access to the internet in the moment, maybe because their power's out, it lets us contact them through text message and they can still get that information. We use it when we need people to take shelter. Maybe there's a tornado coming through, we'll send out the alert along with all those alerts you get from the news saying, hey, take shelter, something's coming. And we just try to keep spreading that information in all the different ways we're able to.
Always great to hear it. Last question before we wrap things up, Jen. Is there anything you'd like more residents to know or understand about how to make the most of NIXLE that we haven't talked about already?
The biggest thing to remember is that you can't respond to it. It is a one-way transmission. So if you have a further question or there's more information you need, or maybe you have more information than what we presented in that NIXLE, you'll have to actively contact us at the station, usually through our non-emergency lines, just to either ask your question or give us that information you have. If you respond to that text message, we cannot receive it.
Okay, that is very, very important to know, and hopefully a lot of residents are watching this, and if they have not signed up for NIXLE already, they will do so. Jen, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Thank you. Have a good one.